We welcome good, healthy competition. The LIV Saudi Golf League is not that.
Is Saudi Crown taking over pro golf? PGA Tour LIV Golf merger. Here's everything you need to know about the PGA Tour LIV Golf merger. Saudi money has ruined the timeless appeal of pro golf, and the recent PGA Tour and LIV Golf merger is a prime example. On June 6, 2023, the US-based PGA Tour announced its merger with LIV Golf, a Saudi-backed golf organization that formed merely 2 years ago. The news sent shockwaves through the sports world. After all, it's not every day that two of golf's most bitter rivals decide to join hands. PGA Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan was called a hypocrite during a recent players meeting, and after watching this video, you may feel the same. But let's take a step back and address some burning questions. What went down? How did the PGA Tour go from banning players who joined LIV Golf to joining forces with them? And what's next for the players and the sport for that matter? Before we get to these questions, let's set the background. The PGA Tour and LIV Golf have had entirely different journeys. One has a storied history dating back to the early 20th century, and the other was born as part of the Saudi government's large-scale investment into sports. The PGA Tour stands as one of the most popular and lucrative professional golf tours in the world. It hosts a multitude of prestigious tournaments that draw players from around the world. Major championships like the Masters, US Open, British Open, and PGA Championship are integral to its annual calendar, capturing the attention of fans and players alike. Over the years, the organization has given rise to legendary golf names like Tiger Woods, Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, and Rory McIlroy. The PGA Tour is an icon in the realm of professional golf. On the other hand, there is LIV Golf, which came to the scene in 2021 and grew unbelievably fast. Reason? LIV was funded by Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, so from the very beginning, it had deep pockets. In addition, two of the world's most prominent players, Phil Mickelson and Greg Norman, joined LIV Golf. Norman was appointed CEO, whereas Mickelson became the face of the organization. He also accused the PGA Tour of not fairly compensating players. With millions of dollars promised as signing bonuses, LIV Golf started to lure players left and right. In its first year, the tour pledged to award $250 million in total prize money. And such an eye-watering figure turned plenty of star players' heads, including Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka, and Bryson DeChambeau. LIV reportedly paid Dustin Johnson and Bryson DeChambeau $100 million each to play for LIV. The PGA Tour immediately viewed LIV Golf as a threat and decided to retaliate. They suspended 17 players who'd pledged to LIV and promised future suspensions for anyone who participated in LIV events. 11 of those pro golfers sued the PGA for allegedly using its power to stifle competition. The PGA filed a countersuit against LIV, arguing that LIV and the Saudi Public Investment Fund wrongly interfered in PGA's business by offering players millions of dollars to break their PGA contracts. It is not uncommon for two golf organizations to engage in legal battles, but something was different with the PGA-LIV rivalry. Things started to escalate when the Saudi government's human rights record became a part of the discourse. And let's be real, why would the Saudi government invest billions in golf? This is where the water gets muddy. The Public Investment Fund is a sovereign wealth fund chaired by Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. Have you ever heard of the Saudi Vision 2030? It is a program launched by Mohammed bin Salman, and it aims to show the world that Saudi Arabia has more to offer than oil. So, golf became a tool to diversify the country's economy. On the other side, Commissioner Jay Monahan admitted that the PGA Tour can't compete with a foreign monarchy that is spending billions of dollars to buy the game of golf. He called LIV Golf an irrational threat that is not concerned with the growth of the game. He chastised players for choosing money over morality. In an interview on CBS Sports, Monahan openly called out the Saudi crown, asking all players associated with his organization, "Have you ever had to apologize for being a member of the PGA Tour?" Apart from Monahan, several players emerged as de facto spokespersons for the PGA Tour. Rory McIlroy, being one of them, told CNN that LIV Golf had ripped apart the men's game. Tiger Woods, too, called out the players who joined LIV Golf, naming them traitors who turned their back on what had allowed them to get to this position. So, here's the deal. PGA Tour spent 2 years making moral arguments against the Saudi League on several grounds, only to turn around and merge with it? I know, we are just as confused as you are right now. Imagine the world's utter disbelief when Jay Monahan himself sat with Yasser Al-Rumayyan, the governor of Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, and announced that they had reached an agreement to unify and form a more extensive commercial enterprise. And if that's not enough, he called it a historic day for the game of golf. So how did the deal come together? Are Saudi Arabia's many sins not a problem anymore? Turns out you can't make claims of morality with empty pockets. Over the past 2 years, the PGA Tour and LIV Golf have each spent tens of millions of dollars defending themselves in aforementioned lawsuits. Money may not be an issue for LIV, but it certainly is for PGA. Al-Rumayyan will join the policy board of the PGA Tour with Monahan as the CEO. No one saw it coming. Not even the PGA Tour's most loyal stars, who advocated for the organization. As the news broke out, we saw two types of reactions. On the positive side, we have Phil Mickelson, who tweeted his approval of the news. Former US President Donald Trump, who had predicted last year that the PGA Tour would merge, gave everyone the big ol' "I told you so" and celebrated the news. Loved ones of 9/11 victims shared their distrust in PGA Tour leaders. 9/11 Families United chair Terry Strada called out Commissioner Monahan for exploiting the 9/11 tragedy and using it for money. How did the players react? And more importantly, were they aware? Believe it or not, it seems that nearly all of them learned when CNBC published a short statement on its website. Colin Morikawa and Mackenzie Hughes shared their frustration over finding out the news on Twitter. US golfer Dylan Wu wrote, "I guess money always wins." Players like Tiger Woods, Rory McIlroy, Jon Rahm, and even members of the Player Advisory Council didn't know what was taking place behind the scenes. In a news conference with reporter, Monahan recognized that people were calling him a hypocrite, but circumstances have changed and he is now looking at the bigger picture. So, what happens to the players? Those who joined LIV and those who turned down billions of dollars to stay with the PGA Tour? The matter remains to be seen. According to Monahan, compensations will be decided based on the PGA Tour rules and regulations. The two organizations were supposed to reach a final agreement by December 31st, 2023, which has passed. PGA Tour authorities claim that there has been meaningful progress with the discussions and they are currently finalizing the necessary documents. When the PGA LIV merger materializes, it will potentially reshape the future of golf. We are looking at an enhanced global golf landscape with potential changes in tournament structures, player participation, and overall competition dynamics. The widespread popularity of golf and its commercial appeal will reach new heights. On top of everything, one thing is certain: the Saudi crown is not backing down. LIV Golf is their first attempt at changing and potentially controlling the sports industry.